on to this now. Many pupils in South Africa's rural areas are forced to learn under appalling conditions. From lack of water and proper infrastructure, they brave difficult conditions just to get access to education. Now, to make matters worse, some of these schools are expected to function on as little as 40,000 rand for the whole year. For more on this, we are joined in studio by Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. Mr. Mhlanga, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us. I want to pay particular attention to Galilee Primary School in the Eastern Cape. That's a story that I suspect the department has now become familiar with. Why has that school not had a proper roof after the roof was blown off back in December of 2018?
Yeah, that's a good question. In fact, those are some of the challenges that we experience in terms of infrastructure. It's not just that school in the Eastern Cape. You know, in KZN we had just under 100 schools which also were blown off, and that's what sets us back, because every time when we want to go forward, storms damage schools, take you back, because you need to provide for those schools as well. And when you do that, it means someone who was in the list waiting for renovation or for a new school will also have to wait. So it's a difficult balancing act that you need to work on. So it's a tricky situation that we have to handle on a daily basis.
Do you have a system that collates the number of schools that are affected in that way, the very school that is on the picture right now? Do you have a way to track which schools are in urgent need of attention?
Yes, we do. In fact, there are a lot of schools that are in urgent need, because in any environment where learners are not in a conducive state in terms of the access to education, that becomes urgent that time. The question is whether there are resources to fix all the problems at the same time. That is not the case. When you look at the backlog versus available resources, there's a very huge gap there.
Were you aware of the specific school, the Galilee Primary School?
Well, the Eastern Cape Education Department was aware of that, because they even have a report which they have given us as basic education. Remember, is the function of a province to deliver on such.
What have they done about it?
Well, they have done something. In fact, they are busy. I think they are handing over schools this week, and they were handing over other schools last week. So there's a lot of work that is happening every day. But for those children who are still waiting, the situation is very bad, and we understand why they feel the way they do. When they feel that change has not come to them, change has come somewhere else. So it's a difficult thing, especially because when we invite the media to say, see the schools that we have fixed, see the brand new schools that we've built over 225 schools in the Eastern Cape, replacing mud schools, particularly from the initiative that is run by DBE itself, even though it's not our core function, to support provinces. But that too is not getting the coverage that it deserves, and it makes it look like we are not doing anything, when in fact we are doing something, but the challenge is very big.
Let's talk about the issue of pit toilets, still at Galilee Primary School. What is being done to eradicate that?
The school is being addressed. As I'm saying, the MEC has been given a report on what is happening there, and I think they'll be going there this week. They are addressing the issues in that school and many other schools. It's not just that one.
What has the MEC said specifically about the situation of pit toilets in that school?
Well, he wanted to find out why it is that that school had to wait for so long, and was given a report. And when you look at the report, you realize that it's because work was happening somewhere else. And that school is not the only one.
What did the report say, sir?
Well, I haven't seen the report myself. I mean, it's a province that is managing that particular issue. What we need to know from Pretoria is whether any work is being done to address the situation of the learners in that school, because it's not just the learners, also our teachers. We need to make sure that they work in a conducive environment.
All right, let me tell you what our team was told about this situation of the pit toilets, that you can't build infrastructure for flushing toilets because the area has no water. So how do you deal with the situation like that?
We've come across such in many of the 225 schools that we've built, where we find that there are no bulk water services. We therefore go for other options like rainwater harvesting or borehole water. So that's what we do. But from 2018, we've been working with private companies who are introducing us to alternative technology which use it doesn't need a lot of water, and it uses other options that make sanitation available and conducive in places where there's no water. So that's one of the options that we are using, and we will continue to do that. In fact, one of the challenges is that you find that parents say, no, you can't just build toilets here. We fix the whole school, and they block a project which is sought to bring sanitation, appropriate sanitation in a school. So that's one of the things that delay delivery of such in certain communities.
Mr. Mhlanga, I want us to just have a quick listen to the school governing body of that primary, which is Galili.
Let's do that.
Let's have a listen.
We have knocked at many doors of the Department of Education, but unfortunately, we happen to have a deaf ear.
Why? What do they?
In fact, it's promises all the time. They say, okay, we're gonna look after this thing. So now it's about 2 years since 2017.
That's a response from the school governing body having approached the department in the province. Now, you tell me if those people in Galili Primary should have hope that help is going to come their way. They've knocked several times, as you could hear from that person. Why should people have faith in what you are telling us here now?
No, they should have faith, because as I'm saying, there will be 2 brand new schools that will be opened this week, and those people
where
in one or other part of the Eastern.
And the children at Galili continue to have books over their heads to try and shield themselves from the sun, the scorching sun. When will help come their way?
That's the point I was trying to make before you interrupted me. I wanted to tell you that those learners in the 2 schools that have been, which are going to be handed over this week, and also the other schools that have been handed over, also had to wait. When you are in a list, everyone wants delivery now, but it's not possible. It takes at least 12 months from planning, if you are building a brand new school, from planning to starting construction, while people are waiting. So it's that waiting is not an.
Do you have any idea how much money that school was allocated, Galili Primary School?
No, I don't know. You see, from Pretoria, we don't look at specific schools.
Can I tell you what we were told was the amount budgeted for that school?
Well,
they were given 40,000, and I can't disclose who this is from because they might suffer reprisal attacks. 40,000 rand.
40,000 for what?
40,000 for the entire year, school year.
No, it doesn't work like that. I don't know which funding you're talking about, because there are different funding allocations that happen. You might be talking about the norms allocation for the school, or you might be talking for allocation to fix a specific problem. But in terms of renovating the entire school, it's not a function of the school. It's the department that will do that through a process that will ensure that the school is renovated into a properly built property. So the 40,000 that you're talking about, I wonder what that is all about. I don't think it's even accurate information that you have been given. We can talk about that. We can go back, check the figures. I can tell you exactly what that was all about. And when we establish, we'll find that it was not to fix the school.
Well, it would appear that you have not had much about that specific school, and yet it's been flighted since last week, but you clearly have not done your research in as far as that specific school is concerned.
Remember.
It makes no difference when you come back later to tell us about that specific school.
Let me tell you, I think what you should then have done was perhaps to call the Eastern Cape. And this is what I told your producer, that if there's a specific issue about a specific school and you feel you want to talk about it, then invite the province, because that's who. The
message I'm getting in my ear is that the people, your department in the Eastern Cape, refused flat out to speak.
No,
to us.
I doubt that. I doubt. In fact, by the way, from this interview now, I'm meeting all my communicators from provinces. We always talk about this, that you never refuse to do an interview, because that's what you're supposed to do.
All right, so maybe you commit here, you commit them on their behalf right now.
All the time. I mean, you tell me when you need them, they'll be available. As soon as tomorrow. If you are able to go to the Eastern Cape, then that's fine, because that's where they are, and that's where the problem is. If your reporter was able to go, they would have been there.
There's no problem. We'll talk to them on the phone.
You should have done that last week already. I don't know why you only want to do this now, because from Pretoria, we look at reports that come from provinces, and we look at their spending on infrastructure, and they say, what is it that they're doing to address the challenges? And we're doing that. So if you want to talk about the specific school and how many toilets and all of those things and why it wasn't done and why people are waiting since 2017, the MEC is there, The HOD is there, and all the other colleagues are there to address those specific challenges.
Elijah Mhlanga, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us.
Thank you.
Thanks indeed. He's from the Basic Education Department.